I would say that if this is a forgery, then the number of coincidences are so tremendous that the man has really had incredible luck.
No, I don't think that in any sense James Maybrick is the easiest of people to use. I think he's a very risky person. The way in which the forger has had enormously good luck is that Maybrick was a hypochondriac. He went to his doctor or chemist, about 70 times a year, didn't he? And this is recorded. Those visits went down in their logs and in their prescriptions books. And by incredible good fortune, not one of those 70 times conflicts with the times when the diary says Maybrick was in London.
I don't think that anybody could really have had that much luck.
It was in these areas where the journal had taken specific responsibility that researchers expected to uncover concrete evidence that the journal was a fake. In practice, what was happening, however, was almost the opposite. Many people took the view that further research tended to support the journal's claims, not diminish them, as was the case with the Dear Boss letter. Apart from anything else, the weight of circumstantial evidence in favour of the journal was considered more than any self-respecting hoaxer had any right to expect. There was the M left at Hanbury Street, the marks on Catherine Eddowes' face, the coincidence in the misspelling of Jews written on the wall at Goulston Street. There was James Maybrick's connection with the East End, his known addiction to dangerous drugs, and his habit of frequenting brothels. There was also the fact that none of his known movements conflicted with any of the murder dates. One thing was clear. The feeling that it was all just too good to be true seemed insufficient justification for dismissing the journal as a hoax.
The Hitler diaries has done probably a lot of damage. People are very frightened because they're now seeing that the possibility of their reputations being damaged. And so their initial reaction was, this is a forgery. And I think everybody's initial reaction to the document was that this is a forgery. It's just that as time has gone by, the proof has been lacking.
Those who believe in it most passionately now are going to be the first to admit that when they first heard the suggestion James Maybrick was Jack the Ripper, and here's a journal to prove it, their instant reaction was rubbish. I think it is the natural reaction.
Yes, I think it all begins to sort of come together for me. As I say, starting off rather dubious about the whole thing, I've gradually become more and more convinced.
There isn't anything that I know that actually shows that this is a modern forgery.
It's not the sort of diary that I could imagine someone writing as a hoax. Sit down to write, I mean, perhaps if you and I were writing a hoax, we'd do it more dramatically and perhaps more logically. This, to me, reads the ravings of a tormented soul, you know, unless it's a double bluff. But this is, say, if it's a double bluff, it's an incredible piece of work by someone.
The debate surrounding the Dear Boss letter had raised more questions than answers. Not least was, why would a forger take responsibility for writing a letter which may have been written by someone other than Jack the Ripper? Furthermore, having so decided, why did he make no attempt to copy the handwriting?
The Dear Boss letter, first of all, I couldn't see the original. In the public record house, it looks like an original, but it's not. And the evidence is that we have the two parts of a postcard on the same side. So no pressure at all. The handwriting is like a copybook almost. It is a facade writing. It's not spontaneous. It's more like a painting or like plans that someone draws. It's not writing. It's not a real writing. It is very, very hard to compare it to any other kind of handwriting.
Anna Corrin is one of the world's leading handwriting experts, and it made sense that anyone writing to the police would disguise their hand. But what about the diary? Could someone have emulated the characteristics of a complex and disturbed personality?
No, no way. It must be someone who is disturbed. It couldn't be someone who can pretend all this
Despite Anna Corrin's conviction that the diary had been written by a dangerous schizophrenic psychopath, other experts had determined that the only written document apparently signed by James Maybrick, his last will and testament, was in a different hand, and therefore the diary had to be a forgery. But this supposedly conclusive evidence was far from the end of the story.
Well, the handwriting hasn't bothered me. I have to say it is obviously the most difficult part, because for most people the fact that the diary itself is in a handwriting that doesn't appear to be matched by anyone else at all. I mean, it's not the same as the Dear Boss letters, it's not the same as the will, which is allegedly by James Maybrick. It is a problem.
If this is a forgery, it's done by somebody who knows paper, it's done by somebody who knows ink, it's done by somebody who knows the Ripper, it's done by somebody who knows Maybrick, it's done by somebody who doesn't make a hiccup in terms of the psychology of the individual who's doing it. But he doesn't make one slight effort to make the handwriting look like anything.
In fact, we're very uncertain whether that will is by James.
In 1891, Alexander MacDougall, a well-respected lawyer, published a treatise on the Maybrick case. He quotes in full the will which James Maybrick had made as he lay dying in bed.
I knew that James Maybrick was very, very ill when he wrote his will, which does not show in the will.
MacDougall describes the will he saw as being written in a large and shaky hand, unlike the document now accepted as being the original.
James's brothers took up to him on the night before he died papers that were said by the servants to have been a will, and he was heard to shout, "Let me die in peace," and it was obviously being pressured to do something he didn't want to do. There are reasons to think that they may have written the will for him.
There are also several minor differences between the existing will and the one quoted by MacDougall. In particular, MacDougall's transcript spells James Maybrick's daughter's name, Evelyn, correctly. In the surviving version, it's spelt on both occasions with an extra E, Evelyn.
No, I think under no circumstances would a father add an extra E to his daughter's name when he was spelling it. It's virtually impossible.
By the end of September, various lines of police inquiry had shown some promise. The phrases "Dear Boss," "Fix me," and "Shan't quit" in the original Dear Boss letter and later correspondence had already encouraged the belief that Jack the Ripper could have been an American or have had an American connection. James Maybrick had lived in America until 1881 and had continued to visit regularly on business. Further investigation reveals that there was also a strong connection to Maybrick's hometown, including several letters postmarked Liverpool. Another was written on newspaper, but this time it wasn't the message that held the clue, but the first line of the first article. Liverpool has been shocked at the mad escapades of one or two well-known businessmen.